What's going on, you guys? AJ Tucker here with AJ Self Defense, and today I want to talk about the story of Carmen Montelongo. You can see this stuff on Peacock or just different streaming sites. There's an episode about her called Snap. It's in that series of Snap, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I just want to talk about a certain aspect of it. So I always talk about, the dangers of sugar dating, the dangers of being the sugar daddy, the dangers of being the sugar baby and trying to break things off, and how people snap on you. Now, she was not necessarily a sugar baby, but I wanted to lead with that. And I want to dive into this stuff. And I just want to give a warning to men who might be in this situation. I always talk about women in this situation, like somebody's giving you money, trying to be controlling, but I also want to talk to the men, especially the older gentlemen that's in this situation, and how this stuff goes out. So basically, this woman, she had multiple men giving her money over an amount of years. She even had one man that she had a 20-year relationship with, and she was just draining his bank account. Now, the way she juggled these multiple men is through manipulation, but also she didn't even let them come over. They had to get permission before they were able to come over to her house. Obviously, she had a roster. Obviously, she had a rotation. There was one man in particular that she started a relationship when she was 54 years old. He was 62 years old, ex-military man, worked at Boeing or something like that, had a pretty good job. And he was actually renting out a room from her, or she was renting out a room from him in California. So a long story short, she wasn't really able to pay it, but they ended up getting romantically involved with each other. It got to a point to where, yes, he liked her for sex, but she was taking too much money. He paid for her daughter's tuition, all sorts of stuff. And he was telling friends that, man, I like her, but I'm gonna have to break this thing off because it just became way too expensive. And the reason why I want to talk about this, you can easily watch it on the episodes or whatever, but I wanted to dive into this because there are a lot of men in this situation, and there have been a lot of men in this situation that's lost their lives. You don't see the story on the news. They may pop up here or there, but it's that aspect. It's a very common thing, not getting killed or anything, but it's a very common thing to be in this situation, okay? So he was at that point to where he was like, okay, I'm gonna break things off, and then after that, she ends up killing him, basically stabs him 22 times. He got stabbed 22 times in the back, stabbed twice in the chest, and she ended up chopping his body up, and she was trying to dispose of it. So if you look at the episode of Snap, she had different body parts in plants and pots, and she was setting it. I don't know what she was thinking, but basically they got to the point to where he tried to break things off, and she ends up killing him. And if you check through my TikToks and my YouTubes, I talk about this where there was another older gentleman. He was a psychiatrist, and he was like in his 70s. He had a relationship with a young lady. She was about in her late 20s or early 30s, and she was an ex-Playboy model, whatever. And he had given her about $700,000 over a period of time. And when he tried to break things off, she ended up killing him. All right. So the reason why I make this one today, let's say you're a man in this scenario, where you might be in your late 50s, 60s, early 70s, and you're giving a lot of money to a young lady or whatever, and you're like, man, this is crazy. Like, something about this is just crazy. I got to break things off. You may feel like you don't need to, but if you've seen like different signs and symptoms of erratic behavior, just asking for too much, if you were trying to break things off, my advice to you is to kind of have a proxy. You want to have intervention. You want to have other people involved in the equation. So whenever it's time to break things off, you don't want to be by yourself, man. You do not want to be by yourself. You want to have somebody with you, somebody there, and it is a hard cutoff. You can't give the opportunity for somebody to take your life. And you might be thinking, it's like, oh, okay, this is a little old lady right here. I'm bigger and stronger than her. Well, another common thing is they may already have a boyfriend, and the boyfriend is somebody with a record, or somebody's just bad news, and they're the ones that will actually take your life and take you out. So just because you're bigger and stronger than somebody, and you're in this scenario where you have to break things off, you're giving up absorbing a amount of money, and you're like, man, this is crazy, I got to get out of here. Don't think that they don't already have like somebody that's bigger and stronger than you that can take you out. Okay. Now I know this doesn't, most people are not in the scenario. I'm talking about for the small percentage of people that's in the scenario. and hopefully I can save a life. I will never know if I saved a life because the life didn't get taken, because you put in those preventative measures in place. But I just really wanted to make this one. I saw this, I came across this one, and I'm like, it's an old story, it's from 2014, but let me go ahead and talk about it anyway, because it may be somebody in this scenario. That's all I got. If you've seen the series on Snap, let me know what you think. Or if you know anybody that's in this situation, then I'll just reach out to them. All right. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you on the next one.